Hi everyone, I'm Richard Casey, President of the Veterinary Management Group, VMG. Now, over the last few months, I'm sure we've all had a sudden surge in the amount of times or requests we've had to video conference given the current COVID-19 situation. This may have been something that you've been familiar with before, or it could be entirely new to you. But it's likely that over the next few weeks and months as well, the need to recruit new team members, whether temporary or permanent, isn't going to go away. It may slow down, or for some of you, it may speed up. But with the current social distancing measures we've got in place, how can you continue to do that while still making sure you select the most appropriate candidate for your business? Because at the end of the day, these sensitive times we're in at the moment make it even more critical that you get the right candidate into the right position. So here are my tips to conduct online interviews during these social distancing times and ensure it is a positive experience for all. My first bit of advice is to explore all of your options. Now, many and most of these are going to be free to use as well. And they're the obvious ones like Skype and Zoom. But what about the ones we use on a day-to-day basis in our personal lives, which can do the job just as well, and in some cases make it even easier? So WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, FaceTime, all of these video calling platforms are things we use on a day-to-day basis, whether that's with friends, family, or colleagues to keep in touch. Why can't we use them for interviewing potential candidates to come and work with us? And these days as well, something I've only personally figured out over the last week or two is that actually, Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp Messenger can allow more than two people to conduct a video call at the same time, which is really helpful if you usually interview with the colleagues. So both of you can be in separate places, and then the candidate is also then calling in from home too. I would really encourage you though to choose a platform that is, one, you're familiar with, and two, is going to be easy for the candidate to use as well. Ultimately, the interview process is a nerve-wracking one for everybody. Adding in the complexity of then video calling or a video interview for somebody who may not have done that before is going to be just an added nervousness. So something that you and the candidate are familiar with would be key. Ultimately, ask them. Simply give them a call in advance of the interview and say, it's going to be done by video call. What platforms do they currently use and are familiar with? Your options are going to be slightly narrowed down if you are asking them to give a presentation or use visual aids. So something like Zoom or Skype are probably your best bets. Next tip is interview structure. So this should be something we're planning in advance, regardless of whether the interview is online, via video, or in person. It should be no different to the structure you would take in person as well. So carrying out your introductions, explaining the structure of the interview, asking your questions, inviting the candidate to ask their questions, and then signposting what the next steps are as well. One key tip that I really can't stress enough to anybody interviewing is to use what we call TED questions. So that stands for tell me, explain to me, and describe to me. By using that approach, it's really going to give a much more broader, in-depth answer, and you're going to get specific examples of what it is that you're looking for. So, for example, tell me about a time when you've had a challenging conversation with a client. How did that go? So then it's forcing the candidate to really consider a specific example and not just talk through hypothetically how they would approach that situation. Now, if you were being interviewed for a particular role, I really can't stress enough as well the importance of structuring your answers in a clear and easy to understand manner. Now, an easy way to understand that, to structure that, is to use the acronym STAR, which stands for Situation, Task, Actions, and Results. So, what was the situation you were in? What environment were you in? What was the scenario? What task did you carry out, or what were you asked to do? What were the actions you took in a chronological order, and what was the result of that? You know, what was the benefits that you got? Was there any unanticipated benefits? If you want some really good bonus points, reflect and say what you would have done differently if you were to do it again. When it comes to video calling, like I said earlier, you may find that this is a new experience for everyone, you, the interviewer, and also then the candidate. So eye contact is obviously going to be very important here, and the easiest way to go about doing that and delivering that eye contact through camera is to look at the camera itself and not directly at your image or the person's image on your screen. It is very important to have that preparation time in advance as well. Make sure everybody is in an environment, one, where it's clear, there's not sound interruptions or background noise, and preferably with non-destructive background information as well. So you don't want to get distracted by some loud or noisy messes in the background. Make sure you're in an environment that's clean and not cluttered. Lastly as well, what I would then really say is as well, you know, because video interviews can be something new, don't be afraid to take a break and, you know, pause the interview and then come back to it after a moment as well. You know, that may help somebody who's particularly nervous with the process. It's not like when we're all in the same room together where, you know, you can't get away and so on. You can pause the interview, end the call, and then, you know, allow the candidate or yourself to have a minute's break and then come back to it after, you know, like a minute or two later. So I would really encourage you to consider that if it is something that you have picked up on, either as something you need or through any verbal or visual cues that the candidate is displaying on camera for you. So a summary of my tips then for carrying out constructive and positive video interviews. Explore your video call options in advance and be flexible to the candidate's needs. Prepare and test them to make sure that you're comfortable and familiar with them. And look at the camera and pause if necessary throughout the interview. Now, VMG members have a variety of recruitment resources available to them, and we are offering free membership for 3 months during the COVID-19 crisis. But finally, my last point is have fun with the interview process. What's the worst that could happen at the end of the day? And good luck. Take care.